Right, y'all. This is a Double G here from Fight Game Media, and I'm going to do a video podcast about the challenge. So we're at season 37, Spies, Lies, and Allies. And what this podcast is going to be is basically the next day after it airs on MTV, I do a write-up on fightgamemedia.com that recaps the entire episode. But here, I want to do a short podcast. Not an hour-long podcast. If you saw my preview with Larry Caution, that was a deep dive into challenge history and a look at this season. I want to do a recap, a short recap, hopefully in the 10 minutes range, just to go over the major themes of the episode and any little bit of detail that I find about the show and about the episode. Like, we'll have a little thing about our good friend Nam at the end here. Okay, so the challenge, according to TJ, the challenge is back. And right now, we're in a world of secrets and spies where truth, deception, knowledge, and power collide. Go ahead, TJ, with your bad self. Okay, so what are the three things that you need to know about this episode? This is how I'm going to encapsulate my thoughts, and we'll do it in a condensed way. So, what's the game this year? Every year there's an adjustment to the rules, to how sneaky, how people can get blindsided and everything. So this year we have two teams. We have the U.S. team. We have the international/global team. And the idea was that the international team had to team up with someone from the U.S. team. And the way that they did it is the U.S. team was chained to some cinder blocks and they were attached to a safe. The global team had to go find the U.S. partner that they wanted and break them out, take their U.S. partner with the safe, unlock the safe with a special code, and then carry the gem, which was inside the safe, to the finish line. That was the very first challenge to create the partnerships. Winning that challenge and becoming the agency was Anissa and her partner Logan from Survivor Spain. The agency's role is to kind of run the elimination. The house will vote in their team of choice, and then the agency votes in a second team or chooses a second team to be in the elimination. Now, there was a twist. TJ gave us a twist right out of the gate. First elimination. Here's the twist. You don't have to pick a team, agency. You can pick individuals off of different teams, one male, one female, and throw them in the elimination, which is what happened. The elimination this year, or where they have the elimination, is called the Lair. And of course, the losers go home. Okay, so we know Anissa and Logan, they were the agency. So who was eliminated? Who got thrown into the Lair? Well, very early on, the Big Brother Alliance was teased as going head up against the Survivor Alliance. Now, because of the international aspect of this show, I think there are like 7 or 8 Survivor contestants. So if Team Survivor teamed up against Team Big Brother, I think they have them outnumbered, actually. You may remember Michelle from Survivor, if you're a Survivor fan. If you're a Survivor fan, you remember Michelle. Michelle's a great competitor in Survivor. She's a winner. She did very well in the All-Stars. And she, very early on, was trying to explain the difference in mentality of a Survivor contestant and maybe a challenge contestant, a challenge house. She's been in the house for a full day. And the challenge folks were, I don't think they necessarily agreed with how she was trying to explain the mentality of Survivor and making it a little bit of a different game. They're like, so a little bit of a target there from one Michelle that she created. And so if you were in the house and you knew Survivor had some numbers, why wouldn't they be a target? Obviously, they're smart players. Survivor is a hard game. From the political aspect and from maybe the discipline aspect, a harder game than the challenge, though finale, the run in TJ's final. Definitely a difficult level there for challenge contestants. But so Michelle, Team Survivor, Tommy, Team Survivor, another winner, and Michaela, Team Survivor, not a winner, but they kind of had this little triumvirate going on, knowing that they were going to be a target, and they put together a list. And in this list, it was, who they kind of thought might have been on their side and who maybe might not be on their side. And, they're strategizing. That's what you do on Survivor. You strategize. And so in this case, the poor Survivor folks, they got ratted out by one of their own. It was Emmy, who is a Survivor team Survivor in what country was Emmy from? I'm gonna look this up here. Emmy was from Survivor Romania. She basically ratted out her own Survivor. I guess they weren't together, but still they could have been together as Survivor. And she ratted them out to Tori and company. And this put a giant target on Team Survivor here. And, the challenge folks, they love it when the rookies come in, especially if they're a veteran, because they can target them immediately. That's the one thing that challenge veterans have in common is they're veterans, and they can target rookies, and then they'll fight each other after they get some rookies out. So Emmy did not need any help snitching on her Survivor castmate. They weren't on the same season, so they're not castmates, but they could have been a team. Emmy snitches, and all of a sudden Michaela's game, Michelle's game, Tommy's game is blown up. And now we go into the you go into figuring out who's going to be eliminated. All the teams get together and they vote. And immediately Michaela was like, here's what happened. So very easy to even increase that size of the target. And then she and Michelle and Tommy, they kind of all threw each other under the bus. And then Emmy's like dropping the mic. I know what this list is. Michaela, you wanted to get X, all these people out. And then Michelle said, and your target was Tori. So Michaela underneath the bus completely. She and her partner, Renan, they get thrown in by the house. So who does the agency pick? Well, the agency doesn't know that you can pick individuals yet. TJ hasn't dropped this twist. They were thinking about sending in another Survivor team, but when TJ dropped the twist, they were like, okay, nope, different plan here. We're gonna throw in Michelle as an individual, and then Corey L., who comes from a show called 12 Dates of Christmas. Couldn't you have called that show A Partridge in a Pear Tree or something? 12 Dates of Christmas. So Corey, Michelle get thrown in to face Michaela and Logan, and they battle it out in an elimination where everybody's sort of strapped back to back, and the team who can pull the other team onto their side and down the ramp wins the game. Now Corey, and this is not Corey Wharton, this is Corey L., rookie Corey. He's good sized dude, looks like he's athletic, looks in shape, and he really he won this for his team, and it won it with Michelle. So much so that poor Renan, I think he dislocated his elbow. I laugh only because the way that they explained it was it just got caught. It just kept stretching and stretching, and I was like, "Come on, guy, you got to pull your elbow out there. You can't let it get stuck." So, TJ at the end, when he says goodbye to the people who lose, you kind of wonder where they are in TJ's. Whether they may come back or not. And all TJ said to Michaela and Renan was, take care. So who knows? Maybe they come back. I know Michaela was a little frustrated by the way that she went out. And rightfully so, because, This is a new game for her, and her strategy absolutely did not work at all. So as we say goodbye, that is Michaela on the left there. That is Logan in the middle, who was part of the damage done, and there's Michelle on the right, who won. So Team Survivor already split week 1. That alliance not looking great for Team Survivor there. So the last question, the last thing that I wanted to talk about here was what look to be the major themes? We have the as seen on, not the as seen on, but the trailer for what they're going to show in the season. There was a little bit of something, but as we know, you cannot have a lot of faith in that stuff. It's a little bit of manipulated video content there. We had a Fessy and Nelson standoff, and if you remember last season, Double Agents, Fessy did a little backstabbing to one Nelson. They were supposed to team up together. They're supposed to be in a little bit of an alliance. And Fessy smelled blood when Nelson got thrown into the hall brawl. And Fessy knew that he would be easy pickings so that Fessy could win and be able to run TJ's challenge. So that caused a lot of discontent. Corey and Nelson are boys. Corey seemed to be okay with Nelson, though. With Fessy. But it was Nelson. He continued to hold this grudge. Nelson's so frustrated. Fessy says he owes him one. And Nelson looks like he may forgive Fessy, but it also looks like they're setting up maybe another battle here. One in which if it's a physical challenge, Fessy will absolutely 100% win. So who seems to be hooking up in the cast? Well, we had 3 of them in the house on show 1, episode 1. Fessy and Amanda were making out. We saw Fessy and Tori at the end of last year possibly being an item. They had gone on a vacation. In the preview episode of this season, Tori said that was a bad idea. But I wonder if it's over between the 2 of them. But right now, it's Fessy and Amanda. Amanda is fancying Fessy. She doesn't enjoy that she fancies Fessy because she's Nelson's friend. And so we have this little triangle here. Also, Nany and Casey. They have been an item if you've been following on Instagram. Nany and Casey are together. And I guess Casey got some heat maybe from a previous partner. And she had to protect her Instagram. So lot of stuff going on there. But Nany and Casey, now a couple. Looks like they're still a couple in real life, which is unfortunate for Nany's partner, Gabo, who said he chose Nany because she was hot. Gabo, Nany's also 0 for 11, so not sure it was the best choice, but I love Nany. Nany's one of my favorites. I do root for her every season. Also, Nelson and Ashley had mentioned in the preview episode they were hooking up. I guess Ashley moved into Nelson's neighborhood. Nelson thinks maybe it was because of him, but they are very comfortable on the show together, making out. Who knows if I was, not to say Nelson or Ashley needs to protect themselves, but both of them can be a little bit explosive. Ashley a little bit more so than Nelson there. And so there's three hookups right away, episode 1. So who looks like they're kind of crushing on each other? Well, I think Tori's going to be a hot commodity here. My guy, Kells, from Too Hot to Handle, immediately fancied her, picked her as his partner. But after the elimination, both Michelle and Corey L did not have to go back to their partners. They could have become a team, or they could have infiltrated and picked new partners. Michelle picked, of all people, Devin. I think she finds us. She thinks they can scheme very well together. But then Corey L picked Tori, and all you saw was a look from Kells that was heartbreaking. I felt bad for Kells. He really wanted Tori, and Tori is a great person. It looks like Tori may be kind of leveling up this year. You got no Bananas. You got no Cara Maria. You got no Wes. And no Jordan, no Darrell, no Laurel. So a lot of the heavy hitters, a lot of the heat, the top players. You'd have CT. CT is there. Um, but a lot of the top veterans are not here. So there's some room for a Tori to maybe elevate her game here. On the guy's side, maybe a Fessy can finally, Fessy's that high ceiling talent, but maybe doesn't, do all that we think that he can do. There may be some room for a Fessy. Maybe Corey will finally win one. Corey looks like $1 million, looks like a great athlete, always falls short in the actual challenge. But if I'm going to put any money on one person who I think maybe takes that next leap, it's going to be Tori. She looks like she's ready to play this year. The social game is on point. She just has to make sure she doesn't fall into these relationships, which seem to not be great for her when it comes to the social stuff. Okay, there's a contestant. His name is Emmanuel, and he is from Survivor Romania as well. He fancies Michelle from Survivor. And I looked at this guy. I was like, Emmanuel, you have zero chance. And from here on out, he's going to be face and neck tat Emmanuel because he's got tattoos all over his neck and bleeding into his face. I don't think Michelle is going to reciprocate that crush, my guy. Okay, so who may take the next step? I already mentioned Tori. Let's not forget Aneesa is still there. There's going to be a theme to this show about Aneesa and Nany not having won. They're vets. But outside, Tori, Fessy, Corey, Michelle is very smart. She's a rookie, which that's going to be held against her. She's already been in the Elimination Challenge. That's going to be held against her. Unfortunately, though, I don't see a ton of other folks who have that sort of savviness. Survivor is going to put that target on you, but Michelle is someone I would also look out for. Okay, so last question here. What happened to our guy Nam? If you remember Nam from Double Agents, he was Lolo's partner. I just consider Nam like a friend. I don't know Nam. I've never met him. I watched him for one season on Double Agents. He's my friend Nam, our friend Nam. He can be our friend. Unfortunately for Nam, he was in the beginning of the episode, and then TJ just said he was gone. He introduced Ed from The Circle as taking Nam's place. Now, why would you know Ed if you didn't see The Circle? Well, you wouldn't. But there is a little bit of a relation between my reality TV world and Ed, but it is through his brother, Mitchell, who was also on The Circle, because Mitchell is now dating Chloe, who was on Too Hot to Handle and the second season of The Circle. Why do I know this shit? I just know it. But anyway, so that's, Ed is kind of by proxy someone who's interesting to me because of his brother. Anyways, if you want to read, I linked the story, at least the speculation about Nam, in my recap on fightgamemedia.com. And the only thing I'll say here is the speculation seems to be that it's COVID related, but go read that post and read the linked post that in there, and you'll see more information about the speculation and why they think that speculation is possible. So, anyways, that is it for the first episode. I know I went longer than the 10 minutes, but I had to kind of introduce this. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Fight Game Media. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel, which you're watching here. Just hit that subscribe button so that we get some more eyeballs, and we figure out those YouTube algorithms. Also, we have a Patreon. I'm not putting these challenge episodes in the Patreon, but if you're a pro wrestling fan, MMA fan, boxing fan, we have a podcast network. Check it out, patreon.com/fightgamemedia. Head over to fightgamemedia.com check out the website. And if you're interested in the challenge, if you consider yourself somewhat of a challenge expert, like my buddy Larry Caution, who we interviewed for the preview episode, and who I'm going to have on again fairly soon, because I think he wants to break down this Survivor Big Brother challenge thing, this dynamic, because he's a big Survivor and Big Brother fan as well. So we'll probably have him on, ask him a couple questions about that. And then, I'm open to bringing more people on. If you are a challenge expert, if you go all the way back to the early days of the challenge, you remember some of the great moments, hit me up, gg@fightgamemedia.com, and we can try and get more folks to do this show. So just to reiterate, my recaps of the episodes will be short and condensed, but we're going to do interviews. We're going to do longer shows. We're going to dig deep. We're going to really analyze this show, hopefully, and be entertaining at the same time. So I am Double G. We will see you when we see you. Peace out.